Alright guys, for this video we're going to add one more step. We're actually not even going to graph yet. You can take down these 3 steps for graphing linear equations. Actually, steps 2 and 3, we've already done these. We've made the XY chart, and then from the XY chart we've graphed the ordered pairs to make the line. What's going to be new is this first part. We have to make sure that Y is solved for, and all the cases that we've looked at, that has been the case. So what I mean by that is that Y is isolated. Y is completely by itself. So today we're going to look at examples of equations where Y is not completely by itself. So on this video, this is what we're going to focus on. We're not even going to do steps 2 and 3. We kind of already know how to do that. We're just going to do step 1. And by doing step 1, we're going to look at the next section. All it says is the only thing we have to do is solve for Y. So whenever we graph lines, we always want Y completely isolated. All right, let's focus in on the next 4. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So like I said, we're not going to graph. Okay, if I look at the first one, all right, if I want to get Y by itself, what we want to do is we always want to move over the X. Now since that's a negative 2X, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add 2X. That cancels out, and just like that, I have Y by itself. I'm going to add 2X to the right side. Now this right side, I can't add those because that negative 3 doesn't have an X. But I want to switch it around because eventually we're going to get into what's called slope-intercept form, where we want the X, this X term written first. So negative 3 plus 2X, this is the same thing as saying 2X minus 3. I just switch it around. And just like that, I've solved for Y. So if I wanted to graph this, then I just make my XY chart, and then I graph it. Let's see here. If I go to number 2, well, number 2, I always want to get rid of the X's first. Now, since that's positive 2X, I'm going to subtract. So I subtract 2X, that cancels. Subtract 2X here. Now, the one thing could be a little bit tricky here. I still have a negative before that Y. So I'm going to have negative Y equals. And then remember, I want to switch these around. I always want the X written first. I can't combine them because this 7 doesn't have an X. So when I switch it around, it just becomes negative 2X plus 7. And then I still want to get rid of this negative because I want Y by itself. So if I get rid of that negative, I divide everything by negative 1 from both sides. This cancels, so I just have Y. Here, these two negatives cancel, and it's just 2X. And then here, 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. So when we isolate this, we get Y equals 2X minus 7. Okay, let's just do one more. Let's do number 3. I haven't been putting this, but I'll put the line down the middle here. Again, the X is on the same side with the Y. So since it's a negative, to get rid of it, I'm going to do the opposite and add 3X. This goes away. Add 3X to the right side. On this left side, I still have this negative 8Y. And then remember again, I always want to switch these. I want the X written first. So when I switch it around, it's going to be 3X minus 32. Okay, and then the last thing, since it's negative 8 times Y, I divide everything on both sides by negative 8. And these two terms by negative 8. So just like that, I have Y by itself. Here, this just stays. This doesn't reduce, so this just stays as negative 3/8 X. And then the second part, here they're both negative, so it's going to become a positive, and 32 divided by 8 is 4, so this just becomes plus 4. So this is one of those ones where you have fractions. So according to what we did last, I'm just going to leave off with this. If you made an XY chart, because this fraction, the bottom number is 8, you would only plug in multiples of 8. You would only plug in negative 8, 0, and 8. And that's what we're going to do next. So this is the first step, get Y by itself. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take all these graphs where we got Y by itself, make the XY chart, and then graph it.